thought that GLOWBERT was never that ugly. Oh, how wrong I was. We have a lot to get through this episode, so let's get stuck in immediately with the news. The random BS event has come to a close, and as promised, I will now say all the modifiers and rewards that happened throughout the entire event. After Counterfeit Ronaldo tried to score a goal, we found ourselves with 2,567 double XP. A horrendous day of only Brawl Ball ended in 512 power points, after we all redeemed 100 free 10 coin offers and got True Gold Grift. We were blessed with 1,998 PPXP. We battled it out in only Showdown Plus and granted the Hypercharge Poco skin. We all celebrated no assassins, only for Marcio to give us one gem. Everyone's heads became big and Darryl became cursed.
You slimy sea urchin!
And sadly, we got given a spray. After the confusion of different game modes every hour, we were given 6 angelic drops. After the nightmare of only assassins, we were given Finks. Who could have guessed? We had only 13 playable brawlers, which is the lowest amount ever, and then were granted a mega box, or as I like to call them, air boxes, because all I got were coins, power points, and credits. It was a dark day as we all had the Fog of War effect and got given our last reward, which was a hypercharge drop, or in my case, all the possible rewards for that day. Once again, we have a new brawler whose name is GLOWBERT. GLOWBERT's title is Sleeping with Fishes, and GLOWBERT is a mythic support brawler. Attack, Glow Beam. GLOWBERT fires a long-ranged glow beam, creating a tether that deals a tick of damage over time to enemies every 0.2 seconds. However, if the glow beam hits an ally, it instead heals them for health that is 90% of the damage dealt to an enemy. The damage/healing effects don't stack, meaning you can't attack/heal the same target multiple times to increase its effect. The tether will flicker if the targets are out of range, or if GLOWBERT is behind an obstacle for 1.5 seconds, causing it to despawn, although he can reconnect to them during that time. Super, Creep from the Deep. After a 0.325 second delay, GLOWBERT reveals his face, dealing low damage and piercing through enemies in a very wide cone shape. Feared enemies will run away, their movement speed will be slowed down by 40% for 2 seconds, and they can't use their attacks, super, or hypercharge. However, only enemies facing GLOWBERT's direction will become feared, but the damage and slow effects still apply. I didn't know that you could just face away. That'll be useful in games like Brawl Ball, where GLOWBERT makes it so nobody can go to the ball, you just need to look away, because there's a delay of the attack. Gadget, Slippery Saviour. GLOWBERT dashes in the direction he's facing, and after finishing the dash, he heals himself and allies in a 3.33 tile radius around himself. More Lumens. When activated, GLOWBERT deals double the damage, healing with his attack for 2.5 seconds. Star Power, Biotic Ecosystem. When GLOWBERT is tethered to an enemy and an ally simultaneously, it increases the damage output of the enemy by 20%, while increasing the damage output of the ally by the same amount. Parasitism. When tethered to an enemy, GLOWBERT will heal for 50% of the damage dealt by his attack. Currently, from what I know, the best setup in terms of gadgets and star powers for GLOWBERT is more lumens and parasitism, but it might be instead more lumens and biotic ecosystem, because I reckon that's what I would go with. But I mean it's up to you, but like, yeah. Brawler of the episode. This episode's brawler has the title of Ninja. Can you guess who it is? It's currently the only ultra legendary brawler out in the game, and is an assassin, Kaze. Here's everything about Kaze. Ultra trait. Kaze has two aspects, Geisha and Ninja, with different main attacks and supers. Her gadgets, star powers, and hypercharge affect each aspect differently. She starts in her Geisha aspect at the start of the battle, and whenever she respawns and uses her gadget to swap gadgets. Uniquely, if Kaze is power 1 to 6 or does not own a gadget, she will have a free default gadget with a 6-second countdown that only switches aspect. This gadget becomes unusable once Kaze has either Gracious Host or Henso Jutsu, or both. Attacks. Kaze's delivery service. In her Geisha aspect, Kaze dashes forward a short distance, similar to Mortis and Kenji, and then slashes in a short 2-tile range circle around her, dealing moderate damage but not behind walls. Like many dashing abilities, Kaze's dash will be cut short if she attempts to dash into walls or water, causing her to slash early. Unlike Mortis and Kenji, the dash itself deals no damage. Kaze's attack also features a strike spot that initially covers a 120-degree cone at the top of the circle. If an enemy is hit with the cone, they will take double damage and the strike spot will be repositioned 90 degrees clockwise. More specifically, the center of the enemy's hitbox must be within the 120-degree cone. Silent Shuriken. In her ninja aspect, Kaze fires 2 knives in a line. Targets closer to Kaze take the most damage, and targets near Kaze's maximum range will take significantly less damage. Similar to Leon and Chuck. The second knife thrown deals slightly more damage at all ranges except at minimum range. Supers. Fanstorm. In her Geisha aspect, Kaze throws a fan that creates a storm in a large radius that lasts for 5 seconds. Enemies inside are unable to see brawlers or projectiles outside of the storm, and any projectiles will not be visible to them once they travel outside the storm. Enemies that are caught at the edge of the storm will be damaged, and the damage can hit multiple times if the enemy remains standing on it. Basically, think of it sort of as like a moving storm sort of thing. More specifically, the center of the enemy's hitbox must be within 1 tile of the edge. Fist of the Brawl Star. I really like that name, it's actually quite cool. In her ninja aspect, Kaze quickly dashes 9 tiles. Enemies caught in her path will be marked for 2.5 seconds, after which she marks detonate, dealing high damage. Kaze can't use her super to dash over walls or water. Gadgets. In both aspects, her gadget's cooldown starts immediately after they are activated. Gracious Host. When activated, Kaze switches to her ninja aspect and gains a 30% movement speed buff for 2.5 seconds. When activated, Kaze switches to her Geisha aspect and recovers 30% of her maximum health. Henso Jutsu. When activated, Kaze switches to her ninja aspect and turns invisible for 1.5 seconds. If Kaze takes damage or uses her main attack during the gadget's duration, her invisibility is cancelled, but if she uses her super, it is not. When activated, Kaze switches to her Geisha aspect and she quickly dashes 3.33 tiles forward. Star powers. Advanced techniques. Enemies hit by Kaze's strike spot will be slowed down by 30% for 2.5 seconds. When marked enemies are defeated, the explosion will also affect nearby enemies within 2 tiles for the same amount of damage. Gratuity included. In her geisha aspect, enemies caught in Kaze's storm will lose 1/3 of their ammo when the storm lands. However, enemies walking in the existing storm will not lose their ammo. In addition, this only affects enemies hit by the center of the storm. Enemies only hit by the edge will not be affected. More specifically, the center of the enemy's hitbox must be within 1 tile of the edge. This star power does not work against the heist safe, the Ike turret in Siege, or spawnables. In her ninja aspect, the star power increases the duration of her gadgets by 50%, resulting in a 3.75 second speed boost with her Gracious Host, or 2.25 seconds of invisibility with Henso Jutsu. Hypercharge, Ancient Energy. In both aspects, Kaze gains a 20% speed boost and a 5% damage and shield boost. When activated in her Geisha aspect, Kaze's Storm now deals 136 damage per second to enemies, up to a maximum of 680 damage over 5 seconds. This only affects enemies hit by the center of the storm. Enemies only hit by the edge will not be affected. More specifically, the center of the enemy's hitbox must not be within 1 tile of the edge. This effect can stack with multiple storms. When activated in her ninja aspect, Kaze's super dashes 30% faster and marked enemies will be damaged instantly if the damage would be enough to kill them. The threshold is 2,720 by default and is affected by damage buffs and debuffs on Kaze, including the hypercharge damage buff, bringing the starting threshold to 2,856. This ability can activate even if the target is over the threshold, if the target has damage increasing features such as Bell's super, RT's attack, and Draco's exposed star power. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you like this podcast, make sure you recommend it to other people.